Thank you, Madam Chairman. I also want to thank you for your hard work on the sometimes powerful Senate Agriculture Committee. I would like to respond to the leader, but I know he's busy and he's leaving the floor. Just to say it, I think that all Republicans understand there's climate change. All Republicans know that, human activity does contribute to it, and yes, we ought to do something. The point I'm trying to make here is we don't want to do the wrong thing and cause a great deal of disruption in the process. And I also want to thank Senator Thune for allowing me to speak out of order. I know this is a hardship on his schedule, but he's been very kind to let this happen. I want to thank the sponsors of the Green Deal for enabling all senators the opportunity to discuss the practical challenges this resolution actually presents. For me, as chairman of the Senate Ag Committee, it allows me to discuss the real stewards of our land, our farmers, ranchers, growers, and how this legislation would affect them and their ability not only to feed this country, but a troubled and hungry world as well. Those of us who represent farm country are grateful for the opportunity to underscore something that too many take for granted. Farmers and ranchers and growers in the United States do grow now the safest, most affordable, and abundant food supply in the world. And as I just said, we know that it is a troubled and hungry world that needs farmers, ranchers, and growers and their production to help feed and clothe the world's increasing population. Yes, and I think it will probably go longer than 12 years. As chairman of the Senate Agriculture Committee, I am proud of our bipartisan record on behalf of American agriculture and, in turn, our record of respecting our nation's natural resources. These things go hand in hand. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, on the agriculture committees, and those privileged to work in agriculture, we have always sought to grow and raise more using as few resources as possible. The men and women who make their living off the land have an imperative and keen interest in responsible use and management of our natural resources. Show me a farmer who does not practice conservation or does not have access to precision agriculture or the latest technology, and I will show you a farmer that's really in trouble. In short, within agriculture, there is nothing new with the Green New Deal. It calls for working collaborative in a collaborative way with farmers and ranchers and growers in the United States to eliminate pollution and greenhouse gases and emissions from the agriculture sector as much as is technology feasible. But that's the language. By supporting family farming, that's also in the language. Investing in sustainable farming and land practices that increase soil health and building a more sustainable food system that ensures universal access to healthy food. That's in the resolution, the legislation over in the House. Mr. President, Madam President, check, check, and check. We have been doing this already, and we continue to look ahead to create thoughtful, well-considered policies. Now, I do not question the intent of the authors of the Green New Deal, but they don't know what they don't know, especially about agriculture. They need to catch up with the Agriculture Committee and with farm country in general. In fact, we on the Agriculture Committee are so forward-looking that we embraced innovative methods of investing in agriculture research with the creation of the Foundation for Food and Agriculture Research, something new. The foundation leverages public and private dollars to bring together experts to identify and investigate the researchable questions whose answers have the potential to enhance the economic and environmental resilience of our food supply and also the environment. I encourage the senator from Massachusetts and the leader and other co-sponsors to simply ask for a briefing for the folks at FAR. I would say the same to vocal challenges on the House side who helped author, and pardon the acronym, GND, Green New Deal. But given their unfortunate focus on our livestock industry, I simply do not have time, I don't think, to fully discuss emissions emitted from all livestock, or for that matter, for Congress. Maybe that would be a better answer. Perhaps later, after writing point on the herd and getting the cows milked. What is worth our time is the defense of American agriculture, the best in the world, from attack by those who are either uninformed, misinformed regarding organic processed, and precision agriculture, all modern miracles and all sustainable with regard to our environment. America's farmers, ranchers, and others in rural America are constantly working to produce their crops and to raise their livestock in order to feed a growing world, and to do so with constant challenges presented to them from Mother Nature. The distinguished minority leader just mentioned the floods we're experiencing in Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa. This seems to happen about every 10 years. I'm not sure that it has happened because of global warming, but at least it sure is with regard to climate change. And we're doing everything possible to bring aid and help to those folks who find their farmland underwater. Farmers are natural stewards of the land, and they must be good at problem solving. They identify the issues of the trend, find ways to adjust their business and respond to that issue and improve their way of operating. They'd like to do that under a Green New Deal. If they don't just adjust to address those challenges and simply do the right thing, their farm or ranch and their livelihood will not be sustainable. It's pretty simple. Every living, breathing person on this earth needs food in order to survive. Obviously, we cannot and do not produce food in the same manner that our grandparents did, because those methods were not sustainable and today would not produce food at the scope and scale our troubled and hungry world demands. American farmers and ranchers who live by the concept of continuous improvement, sound science, and voluntary-based conservation are a model for other industries and other countries on how to address problems like climate change in a very practical way. America's farmers and ranchers raise the same amount of beef as they did in the 1970s, but they do so with 33% fewer cattle. Over the last 50 years, American farmers have reduced water use in pork production by 41%, and the list goes on. These are real success stories that speak to how farmers are already managing natural resources responsibly and voluntarily making contributions to address the issue of climate change. Examples like this abound. They abound in agriculture. The American farmer, through a continuous improvement, embracing sound science, implementing new technologies such as biotechnology, no-till farming, and being conservation-minded, has achieved unprecedented success that I do not believe the proponents of G&D, i.e. the Green New Deal, realize. In the recent Farm Bill that passed Congress with overwhelming margins, we strengthened the voluntary conservation programs. We increased investments in agriculture research, supported risk management tools that will benefit producers of all crops in all regions, and provided additional authorities to address animal health concerns. This legislative package bolsters the sustainability of U.S. farmers, ranchers, and others in rural America while being environmentally sound. Unfortunately, vague proposals or resolutions, such as the Green New Deal, that contain no real details, no metrics, are not going to solve the issue of climate change in any meaningful way. And regulating American farmers and ranchers out of business will only result in food and fiber production being outsourced to countries that do not have the same conservation-minded producers that we have here in the U.S. And let's face it, nobody, no one that I know likes being told what to do, what to drive, or what to eat. Consumers value free choice. They also expect access to reasonably priced food and nutritious food. In fact, consumers will assuredly continue to demand the choice of animal protein here in the United States, and so any reasonable discussion on the agriculture sector's contributions to solutions on climate change must begin with this acknowledgement. These policy decisions must recognize the complexity of agriculture and food value chain, the growers, the input suppliers, the processors, and the list goes on, handlers and consumers, and they must be based in reality to facilitate a genuine conversation between rural and urban constituencies. I know, I understand, I realize, I get it. There are those who think the Green New Deal is a moral imperative, and it may well be. But farmers continuing to feed the world is also a moral imperative. Too many go hungry each day in America, Ending this is also a moral imperative, and too many go hungry in a troubled and hungry world as well. In restricting American agriculture in any way, whether it's in resolution form or legislative form, the Green New Deal does not match up with these moral responsibilities. I want to thank the distinguished senator from South Dakota, allowing me to step in front of him. That doesn't happen very often. So, Coop, you're up.
Thank you.